let's talk about the recent Ambani wedding. You have shared your insights on how total expenditure being a whopping 5,000 crore, which is 0.5% of the Ambani's net worth. What does it mean to an average Indian basically?
Fortunately, unfortunately, this Ambani wedding has got us a lot of visibility somehow. Before our analysis came out into the media, what we were only hearing about the entire event was the kind of money the family is splurging and the kind of does it actually require, and was it needed to show this kind of wealth. But then what we were wanting to say is, if you consider India as a society today, the spending culture for an event like marriage is way above than what they have done. Anybody, again, I'll just put some figures.
So also various media houses claim that to establish Reliance as a global brand, was it a marketing strategy, and how true is it? What kind of help do Gen Z clients ask for?
It is a very sorry figure, unfortunately, because
Can you share your thoughts on the budget 2024 and how it will impact salaried individuals' investments?
we have felt somehow this budget was more of a political budget than the budget for a common man.
Hello everyone, welcome to another episode of Pod Spectrum. In today's episode, we have an amazing guest with us, Mr. Nitin Chaudhary, who's the founder of NC Financial Advisory Services. In today's episode, we will be discussing about wealth creation, financial planning, and more. Stay tuned till the end of the podcast. So, welcome to Pod Spectrum.
Thank you for having me.
So, sir, let's start with your firm, NC Financial Advisory Services. Tell us about it and what makes it unique.
Frankly speaking, NC Financial Advisory Services is a boutique finance firm. We are more into wealth management. You might say that there are many people in the industry who are doing wealth management. What we do differently. So we basically are a one-stop shop solution for all your requirements. We are dealing into different and rather all asset classes. We are doing equity, we are doing bonds, we are doing structured products, we are doing alternate investment funds, we are doing startups. So this is one of the bigger aspects which makes us different. Also, we are not into just investment for the sake of investment. We take the client through the journey. So the entire handholding makes us very different in the industry today. So this is what we do in NC Financial Advisory Services.
So interesting. Also, sir, I wanted to ask what were the early challenges which you faced?
So there are challenges in any and every business. It's not that, be it finance, be it manufacturing, be it teaching, be it anything. I'm sure you might have faced few challenges while setting up Pod Spectrum today.
Absolutely.
So yeah, growing, evolving is the part. We take time to grow. We need to learn. We learn on the job. We do a lot of working. We learn while executing transactions. So yes, and in our line of business, growing the investor base is one of the biggest challenge. But by God's grace, we were lucky enough and we have grown really well. So past 10 years is where we have been working with NC Financial Advisory Services, and we have reached a level where we can actually say that we can handle any portfolio of any size today.
So that's really inspiring. Yeah. Moving forward, so you have also mentioned financial health checkups and improvements. How does that work basically?
So what happens when we look into the arena of investments? There is a lot of mis-selling which happens today through different channels, different lobby. There are sales people who have their targets attached to their performance. So just for the sake of selling, they keep on pushing any and every investment to each and every investor. It is not necessary that a product which is suitable to one segment of investor is also suitable to another segment of investor. So that is where we come in. We actually help you to relate what exactly works for you. Need of every investor is very different today. What you might be needing today as an investment sake, and the purpose behind it might be different, and what maybe 20 years down the line you might be needing as an investment might be very different. So this is where we actually come in and channelize the right product to the right target customer, the client rather, and we help them grow with the right goals attached to their investments.
So, for example, if a client is wanting to go in a certain direction, which is not good for him or her, so how do you convince those clients?
Okay, so I'll explain you this with an example.
Oh,
Say today you are 25 years old. You can take good amount of risk while investing with your money. You can take slightly riskier bets because you have a huge runway in front of you where you know that you may learn and you may correct your mistakes. But maybe 50 years down the line, or maybe when you're 60 years old, I'm sure you might not be ready to take that kind of risks. And you might be very certain that my wealth shouldn't get eroded in whatever decisions I make. So today, a need of a millennial is very different than a person who is in his midlife, or maybe a person who is reaching age of retirement. The returns might vary, but the certainty of the investments coming back to you is more important then. So that is the reason there is the huge difference what investment, what product you are choosing at what stage of life, and what is the purpose attached to it. So more or less, all the investments have a purpose behind it. Either you are creating wealth for the family or your family to come in the near future, or maybe for say you might be deciding I need to take a car, and that is your goal, as small as getting a car with that investment. So goals can vary from buying something or reaching a level or leaving a legacy for your family behind. So that is the entire journey that we can take care of. Gen Z, or say a millennial, or anybody in the age bracket of say from 20 to 30, y'all can take any amount of risk today. Because firstly, being in an Indian setup, somehow still there is a lot of backing which comes from the family, which is not the case abroad. Abroad, the children are on their own once they're out of school. So maybe 16, maybe 14, maybe 18. They are working, they're doing part-time jobs, and they are paying for their education once they're out of school on their own. But over here in India, still the culture remains that the family is providing for till the time the child is have not started to earn. So yes, millennials have that liberty today because they don't have any kind of liability which is attached to them. They don't have, yes, few might be having education loan or something on them, but not anything major. Vis-a-vis, if you are in a different stage of your life, maybe you're working and in your midlife, that is a different ball game altogether because you have to provide for the family.
yes.
And at the same time you want to grow and evolve with time.
Yes.
Maybe there are a couple of children for whom you have to provide for schooling, and maybe for your house, maybe there is a requirement for buying a car, maybe there's a requirement for going abroad for a vacation. So the requirement is different. Going to retirement, your requirement is very different. The requirement from the providing for the requirement goes to survival. You switch your gears, you go and you need to check that, okay, I have this much of wealth, will it suffice till at the time I live? Will it fall short? So the entire requirement, the logic behind having wealth changes. Today you might splurge, tomorrow looking at your kitty you might not, because you have your medical, you have your daily requirements, you have your living expenses, you might be on rent, or maybe you have to provide for your utilities. Everything comes into the play. So as a retirement person, yes, the logic behind investment will be more towards surety. And as a millennial, at another extreme, the logic behind the investment will be more to generate out of it today. Although Yes, it's always better to have some stability to the portfolio, whichever age bracket you are in, irrespective.
So that's interesting. So you also have a team of chartered accountants working with you. What's their role in your industry?
So when we are working out investments, it is not only about the returns that we generate, it is also about how efficiently we generate that. By efficiency, I mean taxation. So today, if you generate 100 rupees and you land up paying 50 rupees as taxes, you are actually generating 50 for your own self. But then if you generate maybe 70 rupees, but then you pay only 10 rupees as taxes, you are generating much more than what you would have generated by generating 100 rupees. So the team of CAs, it is not only CAs, we have a lot of professional, a lot of brain working behind choosing the asset class. But then when we have a team of CAs, it is practically to understand how the taxation is going to affect the investment. Whatever the returns are generated, are we in falling in the right tax bracket? If we are not, and if we are going wrong somewhere, how do we need to correct it and streamline with the taxation also? So it is very, very important as per us to be very efficient with your transactions. That is one of the critical role that the CS play today with us.
True. So that's a substantial experience as well. Shifting gears a little, let's talk about the recent Ambani wedding. You have shared your insights on how total expenditure being a whopping 5,000 crore, which is 0.5% of the Ambani's net worth. What does it mean to an average Indian basically?
Fortunately, unfortunately, this Ambani wedding has got us a lot of visibility somehow. The idea behind coming up with the analysis and giving out figure of say 5,000 crore or maybe 0.5% of the net worth was not to justify the expenditure, but what we were trying to actually do was give a different perspective to the entire thought process. Before our analysis came out into the media, what we were only hearing about the entire event was the kind of money the family is splurging and the kind of does it actually require, and was it needed to show this kind of wealth. But then what we were wanting to say is, if you consider India as a society today, the expending culture for an event like marriage is way above than what they have done. Anybody, again, I'll just put some figures so it will be better for you to understand and comprehend. Say today, if I have 2 crore rupees and it's my child's marriage, so as an Indian parent, I might have started to save for my child since the child got born. And I save for my entire life so that I can spend on this event. Indian families are associated with marriage in a very big way somehow. Although yes, community to community, the expenses might vary.
Very.
But still, we'll end up spending much higher. A person having, what we were talking about, an example, a person having 2 crore rupees as a total net worth of his, he might still end up spending say 20, 30, 40 lakhs for a child's marriage.
Exactly.
Which might go into varied expenses, from the banquet to food to the clothes to jewelry and whatever. And 40 lakh rupees, or say to be conservative, we say 30 lakh rupees. 30 lakh rupees for a person having a net worth of 2 crore works out to be 15%. So when we are comparing the absolute figure, it looks much big. But then the relativity actually brings the point that you spend as per your capacity.
Exactly.
So Ambani wedding was something which actually to be looked at as a different perspective. We were just trying to justify that, okay, the family has spent 5,000 crore maybe, but then it works out to be penny sum for their entire net worth.
Exactly.
And it is absolutely a family's call to spend whatever amount they wish to.
Very true.
So this is what exactly we were wanting to bring out in the open.
Yes. So also various media houses claim that to establish Reliance as a global brand, Was it a marketing strategy, and how true is it?
So nobody knows about it, but then what we think is, if at all the family has done some business during the event, they have been smart enough.
Very true.
So there were who's who in the wedding. I'm sure so global celebrities, global industrialists, everybody attended the wedding. And yes, we have heard about many ventures coming out just after the marriage between the Reliance and the other industrialists as well. But then this is how it is. So they say all the major deals are actually cracked in socializing and not
Exactly.
while doing business. And this is what the family has done. So it's absolutely fine, what we think, if they have done it so.
Very true, sir. Thank you for sharing these
Yep.
insights. So, moving on to another topic, can you share your thoughts on the budget 2024 and how it will impact salaried individuals' investments?
We have also given our views for budget in the media as well. It got covered. But then we have felt somehow this budget was more of a political budget than the budget for a common man. So there were not major changes. Uh, yes, there were a couple of changes in terms of indexation, which they have removed from the property, but then they corrected it again and they restored it. They have given an option to go for indexation. Leaving that, I don't think so. There were major changes or major relief which was given to a common man. Hardly the standard deduction was increased by 25,000. Capital gain was increased by another 25,000. But then all were very limited and minuscule pass away which was given to a common man. So yes, budget was all right, but expecting from a government which is pro growth and looking at the kind of inflation going in the country, we were expecting a bit more towards the common person and more leeway given to them. So this is what we feel about the budget.
Thank you, sir. So, as we proceed, let's quickly touch upon a few topics in which we'll need your insights, especially here renting versus buying a house. What's your take on it?
Oh, this is something which is very, very relative. At the same time, a different thought process to it. So, what I might be thinking, you might not be thinking today.
Absolutely.
So, today, people want to be on their feet.
Yes.
You don't want any liability behind. So, there are people who have the capacity to buy a house, but still are staying in a rented house because they want flexibility. They want to move and switch the city from wherever they are and from where they can work. So with COVID and stuff, you have a lot of work from home, work from other countries have started. So there are a lot of people who are not in the country but still working for an organization in a different country altogether.
Yeah.
So people have started to move, which was not the case before. So yes, Indian thought process, you should have a home, but then currently renting and having your own home doesn't matter anymore in the industry today. So you might be doing phenomenally well, but still, because the things what you want, there shouldn't be any attachment or any liability behind a city when you're moving to another city and having that flexibility, people still stay in a rented house. So it can be anything. It can be actually
So,
anything.
sir, basically, with the final outcome, it may be person to person, what the
Absolutely.
person's personal interest is.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yes. So, coming upon the media aspect, media, internet is booming everywhere right now. So, could you share us a special insight on making money using the internet?
I guess that is the most in thing now. So most of the people who are amassing a lot of wealth is due to social media marketing, YouTube channels and stuff. People have become big time influencers and making money. So yes, earlier a definition of making money from internet was a bit different. You used to take internet for work. It was not any other activity as such. But today, internet has opened a plethora of arena for everybody. So where was YouTube before? Where was Instagram before? Where was your Twitter? Where was your Facebook? So all these things have come up. And this has opened up a lot of things for millennials. It has opened up a lot of people things for people who were actually trying to find a different area to work in. So yes, internet is helping a lot to make money. There are a lot of startups coming up. There is a lot of tech companies which are coming up in internet and social media marketing and stuff. AI is going big way. So I guess internet is the next thing or the big thing which is going on.
Sir, will metaverse have any impact in future in
Uh,
making money?
it can. So what happens is everything, be it metaverse, be it social media, be it any other thing, today it is linked to internet. So internet has become the base infrastructure for every single thing today. There are tech companies related to AI, related to ML, machine learning, but again, without internet, it is zero.
Exactly.
So yes, it can help you in future maybe.
So those are really great tips. So now, what kind of help do Gen Z clients ask for?
It is a very sorry figure, unfortunately, because what we are seeing right now is Gen Z is not looking investments seriously. Earlier, orthodox Indian mentality, it was like you get 100 rupees salary today, you might keep 50 rupees as saving, and then you will plan your expenses from remaining 50. Today, specifically for Gen Z,
Yep.
if they get 100 rupees, they will start spending it. If anything is left, they will invest or look at investing. For them, investment is more so having a couple of sips, maybe, which is the in thing in mutual fund that you have a sip. So they might have a sip maybe of 5 to 10 rupees out of that 100, but then rest is to splurge on or their living expenses. Rather, I would take this platform to push the Gen Z to actually invest. Because if you start up early, you are in a race to build and amass huge wealth. The later you start, the lesser you amass. That is the basic logic that you need to follow.
So that's really fascinating. So also thanking you for these insights. Any final advice for our listeners?
The only advice that I have is you should be a active investor rather than passive investor. So what does a passive investor does? Passive investor parks their money, forget about it, and sleep. Okay, I have invested, it is done. But that is not the case. You need to revisit your portfolio time and again and take corrective measures. And it is more important that if you don't have the know how, reach out to a professional, take advisory, take help. It is of no harm. But if you are able to get the right help and advisory at the right time, it might actually help you to grow phenomenally. And our advice is only take advised decision, take sane decisions.
Thank you so much, sir. It was a pleasure having you on our podcast.
Same here, pleasure is mine.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
See you soon.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's it for our today's episode. And if you like the video, please do hit subscribe so that you don't miss out anything fresh from the channel. This is your host signing off.